Then I will request Dr. Mohammed Abdul Sami Siddiqui sir to deliver his keynote address.
Well, I thank Dr. Savan sir and Dr. Govind for this affectionate welcome. It's 1:30 now. I would like to know how long can you be here? Right? I would like to know in how many minutes, how many, like, what time do you allow me? 40 minutes. Gracious time has been given. But I believe that if the audience feel that we can cover it, wind it up in less than 40 minutes or so. So I think I'll be controlled by him. So thanks. When I was asked to deliver the keynote address, I checked on Google what exactly keynote address is. So Google told me, rather it sent me to Wikipedia, and from Wikipedia I came to know that keynote address is the address which actually sets the way forward for the conference. So I am very much thankful to Wikipedia, because I was thinking that I would have to deal with too many things if I have to deliver the keynote address. So the second question that I have asked myself, I know that the people sitting in this hall are senior to me. There are senior colleagues. There are people with whom I have worked. There are people about whom I know. At least half the population is such whom I can name, right? Or I can call by names. But instead of going to the do we understand when we talk about trends? One of the understanding is trend is what is going on in a particular field of knowledge. If you go to YouTube or other social media, you have these days we are using the word trend as a verb as well, right? Things are trending, right? So things that become trending, maybe in one way they become fashionable, right? In one way they become popular. So the word trend has two basic qualities to it, two connotations to it. One is a development, a movement forward, and the other is what is popular. So it's a kind of a popular development, a development in which many people are interested. So what we exactly are going to talk about is what is the new development in English language teaching, ELT, and literature. Second, what is the new areas? What are the new areas in which people are interested these days? And I'm sure that each one of us knows that these are the areas. There was another change in the way the title was put in the brochure and the way title is put in my slide. In the brochure it says Emerging Trends in Language and Literatures in English. But what I did is, that's a conscious thing that I did, that I chose to speak on emerging trends in ELT and literatures in English. Because I'm not very comfortable with the new trends. It's not very easily possible for me to speak about the new trends in English language, because language opens up an altogether different discipline, which is linguistics. So with that apology, I begin. So there is something which has recently developed, and there is something which is popular among the academics. That is a trend. Now, the second question was, where do they emerge from? Where do they come from? Right? Is it that they come in a vacuum? Do they develop in a vacuum? Right? I believe that all the trends have something prior to that. If something is trendy these days, so there must be certain things which have made it popular today. So it existed before and it has become popular today, and that is another area of our deliberation, that is another area of your deliberation that you will be doing the whole day. Because after my presentation, so the point was, they emerge from something which existed before. When we talk about a new development, it doesn't happen in the vacuum. There exists something, and from which we develop, or from which the new trend comes. So all the trends that I will be talking about will have their origin, right, in something prior to them. That is the second point. The third point is, how long do they stay? If something is trending today, there was a time when I came to know about Collabority, right? That was a trending video, right? So, but now Collabority is not trending. If you look at your mobiles, if you go to YouTube, for instance, an easy thing available, because I'm not available on Insta. I'm not used to for the other social media things. So YouTube, if you see, what is trending today is something different. So in literature and in English language teaching, when a trend comes, how long does it stay? That is another important question that we should ask ourselves. For instance, if when I was a student of MA English, I did my MA in English from People's College Nanded, and from where Dr. B.N. More is here. So when I was doing this MA in English, people were talking about feminism, right? And some of the boys were very fascinated about feminism. People were talking about post-colonial theory, post-colonial literature, and many people, regardless of gender, were fascinated by that and they wanted to work with it. So, if we talk about the same today, if I say that feminism is still trending, am I correct or wrong? I think that feminism may be relevant even today, but it might be being presented in some certain new aspects of it are being discussed instead of discussing it the way it was being discussed in 2005. Right? Because in this particular region, I remember that in Hyderabad, the LPS college had organized a complete seminar on feminist literature in 2005, and I, as a student of PG, had attended it. Then, in 2012, again, PM College Nanded organized seminar on feminism in Indian literature. So, gradually, from feminism, we have moved to certain other aspect of it. Now, the question is, can we decide how long do they stay? And my humble submission is, it all depends on the developments that happen in the academia, and we cannot decide a clear benchmark that they stay for 5 years or 10 years, right? We cannot tell a specific date for one particular trend to continue to be to remain a trend or to be trending. So the three things that I have spoken are related to what I was thinking related to trends, because I have to decide what are the trends in ELT and what are the trends in literature. So that's where I asked these three questions to myself, and whatever I could think over it, I presented to you. The next point is there is a huge digital divide these days, right? Digital divide, you might have heard. As a student of literature, I'm one of those students who was always troubled by the critical jargon of my teachers. As I was a student of literature who appreciated the teaching of those teachers who were more simple in their deliberations. Instead of using more of critical jargon, if they give me the ideas, I appreciate that instead of giving the terms. But one of the trends, if you ask me, had been in the past 10 years, right, was using terms after terms, right? So, like a post-colonial reader, we need to fight against that aspect, because the kind of atmosphere we work in, right? It's not important to be fashionable. It's important whether we are reaching out to our students or not. That's what I thought. But then I gave all this explanation because a term came into my mind, and that was digital divide. Now, why I'm saying divide? There is a divide, huge divide among the English teachers, and that divide is of language and literature. And I believe that there are certain institutes which have played crucial role in expanding this divide. And this specialization has grown to such an extent that one who does his research in ELT, let's say, says that I don't know anything about literature, whereas he has been teaching literature for the last 10-15 years. And the one who does research in ELT or language side, he projects himself, right, in such a way that he doesn't know anything of literature, which is absolutely wrong. And what we have faced in the past many years, especially these 10 years, when I started studying, and now. So my area of explaining things is from 2005 to 2019 or 20. These 15 years, these 1.5 decade, whatever I felt, I will be sharing with you, and I know some of the things you will appreciate, because I need that confidence to continue. Now, what are the trends in ELT? Instead of listing the trends, I have listed the areas in which these trends have come. Right? What are the changes? Let me change the vocabulary. Instead of saying what are the trends in ELT, let's ask ourselves what are the changes that have happened in the past 15 years regarding all these aspects of a curriculum. Right? We might be teaching at any level, right? Again, like the divide between language and literature teachers, there is also a divide among English teachers based on the hierarchy. Whom do they teach? Right? A teacher who teaches in school and college levels, right? He thinks that he has nothing to do with such a seminar. And a teacher who teaches at UG and PG level, he thinks that research methodology is not his cup of tea, because that comes only after when you enter into MPhil and PhD. And look at the policy makers, what they are doing. They are breaking all these hierarchies. The final draft of National Education Policy has come, and if you go through just the content of it, you will find that even this hierarchy of school education, college education, university education, they want to do away with it. Right? They want to put it under one campus. In one campus, you will get all levels of education. And I have seen colleges, I have worked in colleges where junior and senior colleges are together, and the way the senior college teacher behaves with the junior college teacher. Right? I'm unable to understand why do we get so easily carried away by the designations. Is it not our responsibility? Both of us are teaching at junior college and senior college, where both of us are teaching language. If he hasn't learned a few things there properly, do we not correct him at senior college level? I work in the college where Dr. Dhavare works today, that is Rajiv Gandhi College in Mudkher. Right? So, while working there, the kind of students I used to get in Yeshwant College and the kind of students I used to get in Rajiv Gandhi College, they were different. So we had to engage with the basic English classes or the communicative English classes. Right? We did do that, but still we feel that the hierarchies must be maintained. So one of the major requests as a fellow researcher, I would like to share with my young scholars and students that please do away with all these things, because you don't know, in the upcoming days there will be all the levels of teaching will be under one campus, they are calling it. The word they have used is complex, right? Educational complexes. Let's move on to the objectives. What has happened to the objectives of teaching English? Objective is why do we teach? Or why do we learn? From a student side, why do we learn? And from a teacher's side, why do we teach? So without this why aspect, unless the why is clear to you, right, you cannot perform anything in your life. Why I am standing here, if that is not known to me, right, it will be, I'll cut a sorry figure, right? So, and if you don't know why you are sitting in this room, so whenever we begin, this is another problem which the policymakers need to address, that the senior college teachers, the eligibility of senior college teachers, it doesn't require any training. Any training into teaching, right? Any training into, like B.Ed is required for high school and junior colleges, but that is not required in senior colleges, right? And what happens is, and we say that teaching, if it is a profession, if it is a skill, if it is an art, right? For all, some of the literature people will tell you, right, it's how you perform. So if it is a performance, then also you need National School of Drama. You need to attend it. At least one workshop. Right? So I think that is where a major thing happens. Maybe some of us, because of time, because I couldn't get job just after MA, so I did my B.Ed. Right? But it doesn't mean that everybody will do this B.Ed and come. And the way B.Ed colleges are working in our areas and all over India, not just in our areas. I'm referring to our areas because I have been a witness to that, an honest witness to that. And the technology or the approach or the next levels, right, you will not be able to perform well. Now, the point was, when we started attending schools and colleges, English was a knowledge subject. Why did I join MA in English? Because my uncle used to run a tuition class and he was earning a good amount out of that, and I thought I'll continue the legacy. That's the reality, right? So I already had a setup of tuition class and students were attending the classes. So I wanted to join actually MA in Urdu, but my uncle made me join MA in English. And he said, Urdu I'll teach you at home, right? But you go and do your MA in English. And Professor Harihar Kulkarni was his classmate. So he said, you go to People's College and do it from People's College only. Because in those days, SRTMU had just started its MA program. So he said, better to go to college than a university. So he took two decisions. One, sending me to MA in English. Second, sending me to a college. I don't know which of the two was good and which of the two was wrong. But I always feel that one of the two was wrong. Okay. Why I'll come to that in the other part. So why he sent me to MA in English? Because he said, by doing MA in English, your English will improve. Which is a false thing. Right? All of those who do MA in English to improve their English, right? We are testimony to that MA in English doesn't improve our English. That's the truth. And because all of us are right insiders, we can accept it, I believe. So English was a knowledge subject to my uncle, to the prior generation. He believed that by studying English literature, I will acquire some of the things of the language from there. But when I joined MA in English, and I did my MA in English, I was the first, my batch was the first batch with the semester pattern. Right? And Dr. Chandrasekhar Downe is sitting here, his batch was the last batch with animal pattern. So, in their batch, getting a B plus was a Herculean task. And in my batch, right, everybody was first class. I didn't know what had so rapidly changed in just 1 year. He did his MA in 2004, I did in 5. Right? And in his batch, only 2 or 3 people were B plus, and in my batch, nobody was B plus, all were first class. Right? The least marks that one could score was 63%, which I did. Now, the point is, because the way we treat that subject had changed, and from knowledge subject, it became a skill subject. And that's where you find, with this new millennium, you find all this communicative thing being given. Right? The books being prepared by BOS and right, all. You find all those who are senior teachers, they'll remember this shift, that we shifted from literature or knowledge subject or we shifted to skills in it. Right? And we started talking about communication skills. By skills we meant communication skills. And we were told, right? And why this shift happened? If you remember, this shift happened because those were the days when BPOs were first introduced. Right? My senior friend Sachin Barfi will tell you that those were the days the students doing MA in English were eager to join a call center than a college. It was by sheer luck that I qualified SET and I had to settle in a college. Right? My better communicators of my batch are still working in industry. Okay. So that language, it shifted from knowledge to skill. And what was told, the whole theory was told to us that grammar is not required. You can communicate without grammar. Right? Do you require grammar to ask what is this? The famous example that our professors gave us, right? That somebody went abroad wanted to purchase a piece of cake. So he communicated without saying complete sentences. What is this? How much? And that's how he communicated, and he told us that you don't need to utter complete sentences, you just begin. And then we began. We started developing our perspective that we don't require grammar. And we picked up certain language skills, and with that we went for jobs and interviews. And the biggest task in interviews was they would ask language questions. Our teachers told us you don't require language, you don't require grammar, right? And the first question that I was asked by a selection committee was, tell me what are the determiners? Though I came from a tuition background, I knew articles, I didn't know determiners. So that point was missing at that particular point. Okay, now with this skill, all the syllabus shifts have come. We have shifted to situational dialogues, right? It was told that beginning is difficult. It is difficult to begin the conversation. If I come to you and start speaking in English, you feel taken back. Right? Instead, the best defense is attack. So if you start, you will be able to speak fluently. And some gimmicks were played, and we were given some handy tools and a handful of expressions. Right? Okay, so we went on with that kind of skills, and now we have come to a particular point where we are realizing that situational dialogues won't help. Those of you who are watching these videos and other things on WhatsApp, somebody must have circulated, somebody must have sent to you one of the video clips in which Paresh Rawal is asked to do the job of this right? Census, right? So he goes to the house and asks the lady, right? How many? He goes to the house and asks the lady that, are you married? She says no. So the next question is, how many children do you have? So she slaps. So he comes with a complaint to the officer and tells that this is what has happened. So the person says that you should ask the second question first. Right? So he again goes and he asks, how many children do you have? She says no. And he asks, are you married? So this time also, I might have missed it. I'll send you the video, you see it. Okay. The point was, unless you understand the cultural things involved in communication, you cannot appreciate, you cannot fully communicate. So that is where we are talking about the competence of it. Now, communication skills need to be taught in a particular cultural setup. The cultural setup of it and the mental thing that goes on while doing all those, while performing that, right, is said to be the competence. Okay. Now the next thing is, when we are talking about both of them together, language and literature, if there is a shift from teaching of language, is there a shift, is there a change in teaching, the objective of teaching literature? And I feel this, that somewhere when my grandfather was doing MA in English, it must be understanding life. Right? Literature helps you to understand life. Then, as my uncle told me, literature will help you to learn the language. And what exactly I did is, I was doing MA in English to get a better job.